Hello, everyone. My name is Alex's Heart. I just want to say that I have been gone for a while and I've learned a lot about why I had to go. I've been gone for 4 months and I've learned a lot about God, and I want you all to continue to strive to learn as much as you can about God, about the Creator, about Jesus Christ. Please try your best to find time to read the Bible. I was in jail for 4 months, and when you truly want to understand God, you put yourself in a position to experience what you have to experience so that you can experience God. I have been gone for a while, so I'm getting acclimated to the social media stuff, to the scrolling. A lot of people do a lot of scrolling. There's a lot of information that you all are being bombarded with every day. Take time to relax. If you don't know what to do, if not meditate, read the Bible. At least read the Bible one time. You have one life. Everyone reads a book. Everyone's read a book before. Don't be the person that only reads certain parts of a book. What book do you pick up and read and just decide to only read a certain section of a book and then claim to know that you know the author of the book? Seems like a lot of people think that they know who God is, what God is, how God acts, because they read a few verses from the Bible. I encourage you all to actually read the whole Bible so that you can understand the time that it took for God to clearly express Himself. We all have this energy within us that all comes from God. The more we understand God, the more we understand ourselves. A lot of people don't realize that the Old Testament has a lot of characteristics of a God that could be a bit angry when people don't listen. There's a lot of things that we have yet to understand about what time was like back then in those times. But the truth is, there needed to be discipline because people were freely doing as they chose. choosing different gods to believe in and have hope in, not knowing that the thing inside of them was the thing that they were looking for. It wasn't anything outside of them. There's a lot that I have to get acclimated to when it comes to making these videos, but I've spent a lot of time reading. I've spent a lot of time reflecting. I've spent a lot of time dealing with a lot of different energies of different people, learning about different spirits, learning about why people react the way they react. So in time, I will have a better way of explaining it. I just want to also say that anger is something that we tend to express in ourselves when we feel like we can't be patient enough, when we feel like it's our job to do it if we can't see God do it, if we can't wait long enough to see God do it. So a lot of people simply express their anger because what they truly want isn't manifesting, isn't appearing, isn't acknowledging their perspective. For example, if someone sees someone that is hurting and that someone doesn't know what to do except build the courage to stop the thing that it feels is hurting, the thing that it doesn't want to see get hurt. In that moment, building up courage is good, but it's not productive if it's connected to any kind of anger. If anyone has to get angry, it's almost as if you're not remembering how loving God is. In the Bible, it says essentially how everyone hopes that God is slow to anger with them. And when they say slow to anger, meaning you can only be angry, or you can only get angry, or how should I say this? There's a limit to breaking the barrier of what makes you angry. So people should try to do as much as they can to avoid breaking that limit, because it's something that's possible if one doesn't have the patience or the faith. And again, it's the aspect of anger. There's only a few times Jesus got angry in the Bible, but it wasn't anger in a way that you would want to hurt someone. or you would want someone to be hurt. It was only anger because someone didn't have enough faith, or after all that someone seen, they still didn't have the faith. They were still looking for something else. So, I just want to also say that try to pray. When you're praying, you're essentially communicating with the highest spirit. Try to communicate with the highest spirit. Okay? You can communicate with angels. Everyone communicates with angels all the time. All the time. And if you don't know what kind of angel you're communicating to, or the name of the angel you're communicating to, when you try to communicate to an angel, you don't even have a description. You can't even put a name. How can you build a relationship? The most important relationship you should have is one with Jesus. That's the most important relationship. When you have that relationship, you'll begin to understand that the thing inside of you is capable of infinite possibilities. And the more you understand that, you will see paradigms shift. You will see the surroundings shift. People begin to change. People around you may hear things that you didn't hear, or you may hear things that they didn't hear, or you may see things that they don't see, and vice versa. Things will shift. If you can imagine thinking of the bigger perspective, even just a hint or a slither of an idea of what God is. If you look at what the whole universe is, if you were to astral project right now and see the whole universe, you should see perfection. You should see how perfect all of this is. How everyone is where they're supposed to be, doing what they want to do, doing what they have to do to get to where they want to be, or being put on a path so that they know what they want to do, so that they can know that what they go through isn't a waste of time. When it comes to God, you're not wasting any time. God is the controller of time, the beginning and the end. I have been around a lot of people that essentially I had to suppress who I was because of where I was. I had to focus on the Bible. I tried to help people in jail, but I can see how everyone has their own desires. Everyone has their own greeds. People want things instead of wanting a relationship with God. And the more you want the relationship with God, the more you'll see. The more you see, the more God will give you, because you can see. You don't want to be the person that has all that you want and not be able to see why you have what you want. You want to be the person that sees why everyone has what they have, so that when you have what you have, you know why you have it and you know what to do with it, especially when it comes to those that don't have anything. There are angels everywhere. There is spirit guiding you everywhere, all the time. But if you're not praying, you're not asking for directions. You're not asking for guidance. Everyone just needs to slow down. Everyone's in a rush. People want to watch fast videos and get as much information as they can. People want to watch everything so that they can gather as much knowledge as they can. I'm about to finish reading the Bible, and it's about to be the eighth time that I read the Bible. I have been reading the Bible ever since I was 14. I'm 32 years old right now. I put a lot of faith in the Bible. Even before I stopped believing in the Bible, I had a lot of faith in the Bible. At a certain period throughout high school, I read the Bible constantly. When I got out of high school and didn't see things change, I started doubting who I was, why the Bible was here. Then I got led to being put in a situation where essentially I would have to experience what others are experiencing so that I can become aware of that energy, so that I can understand their suffering. And when the time came for me to realize where I was, how much time has passed, how much nothing changed, and how much more everything changes when I go back to my roots, go back to why I cared about life at all, because of how much love I had for Jesus, because of how much I wanted to be just like Jesus. The more you want to be just like Jesus, the more people are going to look at you like you're crazy, because you're going to think differently, you're going to see differently, you're going to try to help people in ways that people won't want to be helped, because they don't want to give up who they think they are. There's a lot of people out there looking for spiritual guidance from people that do tarot readings and all of these different things. If people aren't doing tarot readings for God, if they're not doing it in the name of Jesus, if they're not doing it with some basic understanding of how the Bible is above all things, then they are misguiding you. If people want to talk about angels, and yet they don't read the oldest books about angels, they don't understand why they come or who they serve, how can they have any knowledge about angels? We are all in this moment right now together. And everything that's been placed here right now that we all have access to has been placed by God. Who is to say that any ancient text, anything that we can get some kind of understanding of why we're here is wrong if it's here right now? After thousands of years, it's been preserved right now for us. If it wasn't supposed to be here, you would think it wouldn't be here. You would think God wouldn't let it be here. You would think that there would be someone before us to stop us, to show us if we didn't need it or not. But we do need it. That's why it's still here. That's why so many people put so much faith in it, because it's real. It's something you can't explain. The feeling of knowing how true it is, how real God is. I encourage you all to read the Bible from beginning to end. Understand that there was a God in the beginning that was aggressive. And then when God put itself into a body to announce itself of what's to come, of how we should treat each other, then you see the glorification of love. Then you see the manifestation of what it means to sacrifice your life for God. Give your life up to God as if God needed it, to use it for His will, and you will get all that you want, because it's no longer about what you want. You know it's about what God wants. And if God wants this for you, you're going to want it too. And then of course there are things that you don't know you want, or you didn't know you could ask for, but God will give it to you. So trust yourself. Trust what's around you. The things you can't see. The fact that you're existing, that you're breathing, that you have some kind of love for something still inside of you means something. There's too much information online. Again, only focus on words. The words are important. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. The words are very important. Don't let your words guide anyone else to destruction. Don't let anyone else's words guide you to destruction. If the words feel good, don't allow anyone to tell you otherwise. It's about what you feel with words, and then allow those words to create feelings, and those feelings to create images, and those images to create dreams inside of you, so that you know that you're being guided. Give your life up to God if you want. Otherwise, put it all into your own hands and see how much you can handle it. When you don't know what's going to happen, you don't know how you're going to make it, you don't know a lot. But if you give your life up to God, you don't need to know. You become a servant. You are of service to God, so that anything God needs to happen will happen. And know that anything that happens is for your betterment, for your benefit. Because again, this is a life, a body God needs you to take care of. When you take care of it, imagine how much God can do through you to show others how real God is, how loving God is, how much you have to go through to show what you would do for God, why you exist for God. It's unimaginable. I will show you. I will show you. But God needs you to be reborn, to be born again. You have to be born again. To be born again, you have to let go of all that you thought you knew. All that you thought you knew about life and the aspect of your ego, what makes you so prideful about who you are. You have to let all of it go. You have to be humble. When you become humble, you resonate the frequency that God needs you to be, because there's going to be a lot of things that people are going to thank you for. And because you maintain this humble spirit, you know it won't be overwhelming, especially when you know everything that has happened or happens because God gave you the opportunity. God put you in the position. God made you do this. God allowed for this to happen so that you can do that. All so that you can glorify God. All so that you can say all praises go to God. Jesus Christ. Thank God I exist, because I am a vessel so that God can dwell in forever, so that everyone who wishes to reap the rewards of being a servant of God will. Don't think that Christianity or any kind of faith-based system that puts your faith into God is weak. Everyone's just preparing themselves, humbling themselves, because when the time comes, it will be powerful. People will not believe it. The things you will receive because of how much faith you have in a loving God, especially when this loving God has existed since the beginning of time, before the beginning of time, and all these other beings from other planets exist and learned about the same God, and now they're here watching us, seeing how much we love that same thing that they love. If you want to become a superhero, you have to do superhero things. You have to think like a superhero. But don't think like a superhero with anger. That's a villain. You don't want to be a bad guy. Because how can you glorify God if you have anger? Especially anger that makes people feel uncomfortable. Especially if you can imagine how your words may feel with anger. I've said a lot of angry things to get me put in jail. And I know that it was supposed to feel scary. But I don't want people to be afraid. I want to show as much compassion as I can. I want people to know the love God gave me so that I can give it back. Because I shouldn't be here. I love you all, truly. I thank you all for existing. Thank you all for maintaining yourselves. Know that it is by God's grace. Jesus is real. Jesus is alive. And a lot of things are going to come from that. Love as much as you can. Forgive as much as you can. If you don't know how, ask God to help you. But know that that help may come with things that may feel like punishments, may feel like certain forms of suffering. But through that suffering, after that suffering, it's going to help you in the long run when it changes your character. It evolves your character into who you know yourself to be, who you knew you would become. I have more to say, but not right now. I appreciate you all for letting me talk to you, even though you're not physically here, even though I can't think of anyone to talk about or talk to. I don't even want to put myself in a position to talk bad about anyone, because it doesn't matter. I'm just here to show how much I love God, to show how much I love Jesus. And somebody out there, if not on this planet, on some other planet is gonna show that. With all of these people on this planet, if I can't show how much I love God so that everyone else can know how much they can love God, so that they can see what happens when you love God this much, I'm sure someone will show how important this kind of love is, this kind of faith is. It takes time. But again, you have to read the Bible. Pray over your food. Please. You eating food means nothing if you don't pray over it. If you don't thank God for it, it does nothing for you. And in the end, it could do more harm than good. Doesn't matter how good the food is, doesn't matter how healthy the food is. If you don't pray over it, it does nothing. If you can imagine a dimension where everything gets approved to do good or bad, and as you're sitting there before you eat the food, after you did all the hard work, and then bought the food, cooked the food, now you're sitting in front of the food. Before you eat the food, before you put the food in the temple of God, just like how in the Old Testament they had to give offerings to God, give their best offerings to God, the best food. They had to thank the food. Even in the New Testament, before Jesus broke the bread, he thanked God for it. And then the apostles after that, of course, always said to thank God for the food. Thank God for the food before you eat it. And truly thank Him. Because if you can't, why would you need to eat? Do you even know why you eat? How long can you go without eating? Do you want to test that? You don't want to test it if you don't pray for your food and know why you eat. If you want to test it, you'll find out. This whole time, God has been keeping us alive this whole time. Forget about what you know about the science of the body. Know that God is making all of this happen. And if you want to look at it through a magnifying glass, you can relate it to science. But at the end of the day, it's God doing it. God set it up to be that way. So don't put your faith in the science. Put your faith in God. Forget about the logic, about creation, about what you think you see. Everything can change in an instant. Nothing is permanent. If you want to understand the miracles of God, what's possible through God, put all of your faith in God, Jesus Christ. Forget about what you were taught. Read the Bible. The words are there. Put your faith in the book. Forget about what anyone else says. See what happens when you put that much faith in something. See where you get guided. See how much love and forgiveness you build within yourself. You are all loved. There is a time and a place for everything. When the time comes, you will either be with God or without God. When I say without God, I mean you won't know how to communicate with God. You won't know how. You won't want to. You might even feel so discouraged to try, because after all this time, you would feel like there's not enough time, or what's the point? There's a lot. There is always a lot. There's not enough words to express what can be understood. I love you all truly. Thank you all for listening. Relax. Everything is going to be okay. The new world is coming. Blessed are those that believe, that have faith, that hold love in their hearts and continue to love others. Don't hold any grudges against anyone. And forgive those that don't understand. Trust yourselves. Why exist if you can't? Thank you all for listening.